Welcome to Your Redemptive Birth, a birth story podcast where we hear directly from women who have journeyed from medicalized births to natural ones. I'm Sarah, and together we'll hear from women who have reclaimed birth by taking ownership of their choices and trusting their bodies. Their wisdom will inspire and guide you toward the natural, powerful, deeply fulfilling birth you desire. You are on your way to your redemptive birth. The information shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Birth is not a medical event. It is a natural physiological process. Always trust yourself, do your own research, and make the choices that are right for you. This is Your Redemptive Birth. Hi, Mikala. Welcome to the podcast. How are you today?
I am great. It's nice to see you, Sarah.
I know. So we've crossed paths in the birth world a bit before, but it is so exciting to hear your full story because you are active in the birth world, and I'm actually you're a bit of celebrity around here in our little Northern Illinois town. And I think a lot of women are going to be really excited to hear your birth stories. So, without further ado, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do in the world, and your family?
So I'm Mikala, obviously. I am a birth keeper because of my birth stories that we'll get into in a little bit. But yeah, I serve women and however they choose to birth in our area, and I speak up to the doctors when they're doing something wrong.
Gorgeous. Yes, you are known for that, and it's so important that we, as women who know the truth about birth, use our voices however we can. All right, well, why don't you take us back to your very first pregnancy and what it was like becoming pregnant for the first time and who you were, what kind of care you chose. Wherever you want to start, you take us back.
Okay. I was 19 when I had my first kid. When we got pregnant, I didn't know I was pregnant, but I was like, something's different. Something feels like something's going on. So I made a joke to my mom, the worst joke possible. April 1st, I was like, Mom, I'm pregnant. She's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, you're right. No, I'm not. And then actually I was. First baby. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anything about birth. I just know what my mom told me, and my mom had cesareans. I knew I didn't want that, so I was like, I'm going to do everything possible to not do that. I had our little town doctor in Indiana, so not many options to go by where we were because our town is 250 people. So it was the next little town over that is our hospital. I was told he's the doctor to go to because I was on state aid, but I had family warn me. He's the one who is known for ripping women open, not for cesareans, but tears. So I prepared myself for that. Sorry.
It's okay.
I went in. He's like, I don't want you to birth on Christmas, so we're going to wait until after Christmas before we have your baby. I'm like, that's fine. That means I'm not getting induced, right? But I did end up getting induced because I'm over 41 weeks with all my kids. This is my normal. But got induced. I think we went in on a Tuesday, and then I didn't get out until Saturday or Sunday because my baby was born on a Thursday or Friday. But during that process, I got the epidural. I got to 6 centimeters. I was like, no, can't do this. This is intense. But I didn't know I could get up out of my bed at that point. I am laying in bed that whole time, just not in a good place. My best friend's there and my mom's there. My mom's like anxious, but she's trying to support me. And my best friend was like, yeah, you got this. Best support person ever. Doing good. And then it's like, it's time to push per what the doctor told me. And I was doing those practice pushes, and then it was to the point of, I can't not push. I need to get this baby out. And he's yelling at me, stop pushing. You're going to tear. And I'm like, I can't stop pushing. I'm yelling back at him. And then my friend tells him, she's going to pass out. You need to give her something, give her a mask so she doesn't pass out. And he said, let her pass out. She's being too loud. There was nobody else in the hospital except me at that moment birthing. So I don't know why he had that in his head, but I was making him angry. He ended up using forceps. This is 13 years ago in Indiana, so forceps are still a thing. Ripped me open every direction, 4th-degree tearing, and then he had to stitch me up after that. I didn't get to hold my baby. It was still holding my baby upside down and patting him. And he gave me, at that moment as he's patting him, he's like, this is a really small baby. Like, angry at me that I had a small baby. He was 7 pounds, 13 ounces. Not a small baby, normal sized baby.
Very normal baby.
They took him away. I didn't even get to see him after that. They took him away and put him in the nursery. He was fine. But he was stitching me up for 3 to 4 hours from all that tearing. And then they're like, oh, do you want to see your baby? And I'm like, am I allowed to? I had no idea. I was 19. I didn't know that, yeah, I could have my baby. Why did you take him away for that long? It was intense. With all of that, I had a lot of depression after that because I didn't know what I was doing. Breastfeeding was hard. My mom didn't breastfeed. She breastfed my brothers. My twin brothers are younger than me when they were for 6 months. She didn't breastfeed me. She didn't have any advice. She's like, you just stick them on and that's it. But that wasn't it because I had bleeding, a lot of bleeding, but I stuck it through because I didn't want to be another person in my family that didn't try to breastfeed and get through it. So we made it through, me and that little baby, for a year. But the postpartum depression and anxiety, it was a lot. It wasn't even just that. I had a lot of rage too. That's a whole other part of that story. I was with my mom in Indiana, and then I was like, let's move in together, me and my husband. And we moved in with his parents at first, his dad and stepmom. They weren't good support people, so that depression just got worse. I was stuck in my bedroom or going to the park with my kid. It was intense, so more depression until we finally moved away when my son was about to turn 3. But that first birth was intense. It was a lot, and then the postpartum period was not any better.
Wow. Yeah. Like, this is a birth experience that shockingly isn't even that rare in our
Yeah.
country, which is just astounding and wrong and terrible. And I think so many women are going to hear that you went through this, and they're not alone, that this is something that unfortunately is happening, and there is another option. And I mean, you made it to the other side like a warrior woman, and we shouldn't have to be doing this, of course, but you did. So I suppose, do you want to take us into your next birth?
Of course.
Next baby? Okay.
What year was that? 2014. I knew about birth at this point. I made friends telling me all these different things. You have choices, make your birth plan, go in knowing your birth plan. I found a really good doctor. He knows better of what I had going on from my previous birth with the stitches and everything and all the weird skin. And he was amazing. I loved him. His nurses, not so much. But I went in there, had my birth plan. I got in there at 1 a.m. and the nurse that came in.
So labor began at home, and then
I
labored at home for a while.
We went in at 1 a.m.
How pregnant were you? You went 41 plus something again. So okay. Yeah.
All my baby.
He didn't pressure you into an induction or
no,
nothing like that. Good.
He was with it. He was fine.
Gorgeous. Okay.
Yes.
All right, cool. So you start labor at home.
Good doctor.
Yay. Oh, we love to hear that.
That nurse, though, at 1 o'clock in the morning she tried to check for his heartbeat, and she panicked for whatever reason because I was in very active labor. And said, I can't find his heartbeat. I need to put the probe in him. And I'm like, what do you mean? Put the probe in. She all of a sudden calmed down and was like, oh, he's just fine.
You're talking about the electrode that they screw into the baby's scalp. Yeah.
Didn't tell me what it was.
No informed consent there. Just did it. Oh my God. Okay.
She said, this is going to hurt when she put it in because she didn't even use like the jelly, the lube stuff when she was doing it. She just did it. So it was intense. I don't know that nurse's name. Don't want to ever know her name again.
I'm actually quite shocked that a nurse placed that electrode. Like, I thought that, I mean, I guess I didn't know that I thought the obstetrician or midwife is the one who places something like that, but a nurse can do it as well. Wow.
You're right, because
Okay.
I've never seen another nurse do that. When I serve
No.
moms, it's always the OB or whoever's on call for that.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Shocking. So yeah, tell us, how does that unfold then?
Did that, got into bed so they could check me, even though I didn't want the checks. That was my whole pregnancy. I told them I didn't want checks. They did the
Yes.
check. I was already 6 or 7 centimeters.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to look back at that actually. Um, but they're like, if you want that epidural, the pressure came on. You need to get it now. You're already being loud. You're not going to be able to make it to the end. And I'm like, just give it to me then, because
Hmm.
I didn't know better. Still, like I knew better, but I didn't want that pressure from them because I knew it was going to continue. So I got it. It was fine. And then by 5 a.m., they're like, oh, it's time to push. I'm like, yeah, I can feel him. He's right there. But I got nervous at that point because I'm like, ooh, it hurts. It burns. And he says, well, if you don't want to push, I'll get that vacuum and we'll just put it on there. He tries to walk away and I'm like, nope, I'm going to push. And out came my second kid. But then they didn't listen about the postpartum stuff. They clamped his cord immediately. They put the eye ointment on him. They gave him vitamin K. They did all the things I said not to in my birth plan.
And are you holding him, or did they take him away to do all of
They
that?
took him. They took him to their
Wow.
warming thing. I
Yeah,
forget what it's
yeah.
called.
Uh-huh. I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Then,
And wait,
oh,
and I also
go
just
ahead.
want to circle back to, this is such a common theme where a doctor like threatens a woman as she's pushing, makes a like joke and
Yeah,
says, I'm gonna have to get the forceps, the vacuum, like that. It places you into fear. It doesn't
yeah.
allow you to birth your baby in power and in peace. Like, okay. Anyway, so
No, I
they
agree.
don't
In that
completely
moment, I was
disregard.
like, this is horrifying. How is he
Hmm.
going to say that to me? And afterward, I'm like, okay, I get the joke. But now I'm like, no, that was still
No,
not good.
right. Oh, yeah, awful.
Um, all the other stuff was okay, but they didn't listen to any of those things, as I already said. But at the end, right before I'm leaving, my main doctor came in and set her chair in front at the end of the bed right before we're about to leave and says, she like crosses her hands and is like, I'm really sorry we didn't listen to your birth plan. And I didn't even respond. I'm like, what am I supposed to do now? Okay, I want to go. Like, what is that going to do?
Yeah, thanks for your apology. Like, no. Yeah, that's horrible.
But I had a much better postpartum period with him than the previous one. Still, like, depression stuff going on because I felt lonely just because away from my family still. But it was much better because I had friends up here at that point.
Yeah, no, for sure. Planning for postpartum and making sure that you have that support is so key. And so I don't think people really know exactly what they're planning for a lot of times. I mean, your second baby, you know more, but like when you're a first time mom and you're like, people talk about postpartum depression, you're like, surely I can handle it. It's fine.
Yeah.
And they don't realize how much their birth is going to affect postpartum, how much it's going to affect their breastfeeding journey. Like, it's all so interconnected and just so important. Oh, okay. And wait, before we go on to the next one, so you have 4 kids,
Yeah.
correct? Or
4 kids.
yeah, right. And so the next one was also hospital as well, or
No.
no? Okay, is this where the tides turn?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're getting to the redemption side of your story.
Yes.
Clearly this is what happened in your prior births informed what you chose going into your third birth. But tell us more about that and what you
So
chose.
meeting more people and more of these women, choosing
Mm-hmm.
home births, teaching and leading classes, talking about all these things, watching the movies. I forget what they're called. It's like Birth on Your Terms. I think that's what it's
Yeah.
called.
Okay.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm like, wow, okay, amazing. So now I know more people. It's not just a me thing that is thinking this isn't right. Let's do something different. So with my third, I still saw a provider through pregnancy. He was a good doctor for me, just not the whole system, medical system.
Right.
But when I went in for this pregnancy, I said, I don't want any vaginal checks and I don't want any transvaginal ultrasounds. And they, not him, his nurses got angry, said that is against our policies and procedures. You have to do these things. And I was like, no, you're my nurse. You're not my provider. So even with their attitudes, they went and told him, and he came and talked to me, and he's like, absolutely. If that's what you want, that's what we're doing. Perfect. So glad you're on board with that.
Yes.
They're at the beginning of that pregnancy, though, when they try to do the transvaginal ultrasound, I'm a bigger woman. I am not a small person. They said, we have to do that. And I'm like, no, never had one of those, not doing it now. I've always been this size. I brought my friend in, a really small framed woman to be with me as my support person. And he's like, he looked at her, he looked at me, he said, if you were more her size, we could do the abdominal ultrasound and be fine. But because you're not her size, then it's not really going to work. But if you want to try, I'll get my best tech in here and we can try. And I said, absolutely, bring her in because I'm not doing that. She came in there, we did the ultrasound, she was done within 5 minutes. Got every photo they needed, no problem. I'm like, you really just fat shamed me.
Seriously.
You wanted to put a probe in me when I said no.
Seriously. It's all coercion. There was no reason that they had to say it that way or do what they did. And wow, okay.
Getting a little shaky over here. I'm like, I can't believe I'm sharing all this.
I know. Thank you. Because again, I think this is going to resonate with so many women, you know?
Yeah.
So, this is great. Thanks for being so vulnerable.
Yeah. Thanks for asking me. All the tests they do in pregnancy. What is that one with the swab?
GBS swab. GBS. Yes. Group beta strep.
Yes. I said, I don't want to do that. What did he say? Oh, he had this very sincere look on his face. And he said, is it something with me? Did I make you not trust me? What is with the not wanting anything inside you? I just didn't want it. That's all. There is no trust here. I wouldn't have came back otherwise.
Period, yeah.
But I ended up being coerced into it and still did that test that day because the way he made me feel when he said, is it something I did, made me feel I had to do it to prove to him that I still trusted him. So, yeah, it was.
Wow, what a weird, twisted relationship. Yeah. These care provider woman relationships. It's just that power dynamic makes it really, really hard to stick to what you want.
Yeah,
that is such the story, I think, for so many women.
And they don't even realize it's happening because they just feel like it's normal. I hear a lot of that. So that was the rest of any weird pregnancy stuff with that one. Also did not get induced with that one. What was he? 40. I got to 41 weeks and the nurse practitioner was like, you should really get induced in some manner at this point. I'm like, no, I'm fine with waiting. I don't need to do any of this. And I forgot she said this until this very moment. She looked at me in this weird, creepy vibe way and said, I can do a really good membrane sweep. And I'm like, wait, what? I froze. I'm like, okay, no, thank you. And it was the end of the appointment. I'm like, what just happened? Who says that? Did not get induced. Waited until that baby, but I did not go to the hospital for that one. That was my first free birth baby. I think we were 41 and 3 days. So this one, there used to be, I don't think they do it anymore because the people who ran it are not breastfeeding anymore. But it was the breastfeeding thing where everybody around the world is breastfeeding at the same time. But I was there, I was holding my 3-year-old and I'm getting crampy. And they're like, wow, you were 41 weeks and you're still holding your 3-year-old on your hip. And I'm like, yeah, it's my normal day. It's no big deal. Breastfeeding this kid, getting this kid to come out soon. we went to Woodman's and we're just doing grocery shopping. And I'm like, wow, like I had to stop while we were pushing the cart. And like, these are kind of a little intense. I don't know what this is. This is okay. Maybe this is labor. But they were still so random. I was like, maybe not. So finished grocery shopping, came home, and my husband's mom was coming over for something. I was like, I'm not doing that. You guys can go to dinner with the other kids. I'm going to stay home. Stayed home, took a nap. He came back like 4 hours later, and I woke up and I was like, oh, that was a really nice nap. And then almost immediately contractions started. I'm like, oh, okay, this is for real. But it wasn't constant contractions. It was consistent, which is what I tell moms often. Not every mom is going to have those back-to-back contractions perfectly timed out. Everybody's different. So mine.
I would say most women probably don't have a really regular contraction pattern from the beginning, and we're conditioned to think that's normal. So right then we're getting in our heads, but I'm glad to hear that you didn't do that. Okay, cool.
When contractions started getting like on top of each other, on top of each other, I was like, I think it was midnight at that point. And I told my husband, I was like, I just want to sleep. I don't want to keep waking up to this. I'm so tired. But I slept. Every time a contraction started, I woke up for it, and then I went right back to sleep in between. And then all of a sudden they were on top of each other, and I was like, why is this still happening? I just want to sleep. And my husband's like, do you need me to rub your back or anything? It's like, yeah, please, something, because I don't know how often or how long this is going to last. And then by 1 a.m., because that all started at midnight, baby was out. So a whole 60 minutes of some contractions, and then that last 10 minutes of, they're on top of each other, baby's out. It was amazing. There was a full moon that night I think we had like a lunar eclipse that night too. So perfect first free birth for me. I saw the moon out the window while I was pushing, and I roared, and I was like, that was incredibly freeing. Loved that whole feeling of all of it. Just sitting there in bliss after this baby came out. Put him on my chest immediately. All my cords are like super long, so I got to pull my baby all the way up. My husband's just like in shock that we just did this, but he loved it. He loved every piece of it. And then we're just sitting there, and all of a sudden I feel like it's like 5 minutes later, my placenta's also come out really fast. And I was like, ooh, placenta's coming. And he's like, well, just push it out. I pushed it out, and then it splattered all over our couch. And he's laughing, and I'm like trying not to cry because I'm like, we just ruined our couch. There's blood all over it.
Oh, man.
And he's laughing. He's like, we'll clean it. If it doesn't clean, we'll get a new couch. I'm like, I'm so glad you're being calm because I'm crying over blood.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing was wrong with that birth. Everything was absolutely perfect. I tried to wake up my older two kids because they said they wanted to be there, but they were sleeping. They did not wake up for a bit of it. Even with me screaming, they slept through it. The only thing that I would say for that my husband, I told him, I was like, this is what we're doing. I'm not going back to that facility. I'm not going to any type of facility ever again because they don't listen to me and I don't trust them. I don't trust them to listen to what I want and what I need. So I made him a big poster of all the risks or the what ifs if there anything that could possibly go wrong. And now that I've looked back at that, being a birth worker, I'm like, some of this stuff I would never call an emergency at this point in my life. But in that time I did. But he said afterwards, like a month later after our baby was born, that if you didn't make that, I would have been nervous because I was nervous because I'm new to this. I don't know what's going on, but I was trusting you to know what to do. I'm like, exactly. You trusted me. That's all that counts.
Exactly. Wait, this is interesting. So you said it was a big poster that you created for your husband.
Yep.
Okay. Well, this is great even if women do want a care provider present at their birth because it's giving like a visual to everybody in the room. Like, hey, I don't know. Yeah, it shows that you know what you want, and like it's a visual, like big, instead of having it like be a little birth plan, for example, that you bring into the hospital. It's so easy to like set that aside,
Yeah.
you know, like, and like, oh, they can say, oh, I just didn't see it or whatever. But or even if it's in their chart, like it's just convenient for them to say, well, wow, we didn't know that this was there. But man, a big poster, like, say a woman did want to give birth in the hospital, like what if she brought something like that in with her to, like, you know, it just says, hey, I know what I want, this is what I want, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, anyway.
I have moms that go to facilities that will bring in 5, 6, 7 birth plans. So every new person that comes in the room, she was handing it to them. So there was no question of, you didn't know my birth plan, I gave it to you.
Good thinking. Okay, well, wait, I want to back up just a little bit. So your whole labor then, so you were crampy during the day at grocery shopping, whatever, and then it's the real contractions, like active labor contractions, start around 11 p.m. you said. So your whole birth was like less than 2 hours, like active labor to birth.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a wild ride, huh?
Quick.
So, and you were sleeping between contractions, which is like, I commend you, man. I don't know how people do that, but I hear women do it. So good. So how long were you pushing, and how did you push? Like what position did you find yourself in, and how are you moving?
I was on hands and knees. I did not push for more than 2 contractions. It was 2 pushes and he was out, because when my body said, let's go, that was it. And he was out. It was really quick. That was the only time I screamed, that roaring at the moon. Yes. The rest was calm, except for me crying that I wanted to sleep.
Awesome. Well, what a beautiful, powerful birth. I'd say definitely redemptive. How did you feel coming off of that experience going into postpartum compared to your first 2 births?
I did not have any postpartum depression or anything like that. It was amazing. I was like, is this just because I didn't have those drugs? Is this because we were at home? Is this because I was listened to? Like, it was just a better experience. I did save my placenta for this one though. My husband, because I taught him about eating raw placenta and smoothies and all these things, he's like, well, there was one time he came home from work and I was like sad, that baby blues just for a day. It wasn't even baby blues. I was hungry. I was crying. I was like, I don't know what to do. He just wants to eat all the time. I'm just really tired. He brought me a smoothie. I was like, if I can if I feel any chunkiness in this, because I know you put placenta in this, I'm not going to eat it. He made sure it was super smooth. I drank that smoothie and I was perfectly fine again. I just needed some food.
Yeah, I hear you there. All right. Well, wonderful. Is there anything else you want to say about that birth before we dive into your 4th birth?
The only thing I could think of is the friends here again. With our nonprofit Crunchy Ladies, we had already started making meal trains at that point for anybody in our community that wants them. So having friends bring meal trains also helped, because then I'm not having to worry about meals for my other 2 kids. We have something to go on and still function every day. So it's really nice having a group of people who bring you meals, is what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I hear you. That was all I asked for in my last pregnancy. Was like, I don't want any baby clothes. I don't want any more baby stuff. I just want my crew to bring me food after this baby is here. And they did. It was awesome.
Nice.
All right. So when you become pregnant this next time, how did you approach this pregnancy, and how did you go about your care?
So I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning, but my first kid, unplanned. The rest of them have all been plans. I wanted all my kids 3 years apart, because my brain was like, this is what we need to do, and I need to do it before I'm 30. And I want kids after 30. So our last one, I was like, okay, I want to have our baby get pregnant in this month, so we have them by this month. I don't know why my brain works like that, but I needed that. So we got pregnant And I was like, before even being pregnant, I was like, just so you know, Daryl, sorry, that's my husband's name. We are not going back to a facility. We're not having anything. I know what I'm doing. I've done all this research. I trust my body and trusting my baby. If something is wrong, then we'll go in. So that was the plan before we even got pregnant. Or I don't know I don't remember what month I got pregnant with her because everything was just normal life at that point. Early pregnancy, I had a lot of nausea and just so tired. This was very different because I have 3 boys and then my daughter is my last. So I'm like, this is not normal for me. I don't think anything is wrong at this point, but I'm like, maybe I want to go get an ultrasound. And I ended up getting one because I was like, if this is a different gender baby, I'm going to be so happy to finally have my little girl. And it was completely different pregnancy than my boys, and I loved it. My boy pregnancy was their pregnancies were super easy, and then hers tired all the time, nausea, everything, all the symptoms, which is fine because I have my baby. But other than that, for pregnancy, everything was super normal. This was my longest pregnancy though. She went to 42 weeks and 3 days. I feel like she went that long because she wasn't quite aligned where she should have been. She was off to my right side of my hip a little bit. So at 42 weeks, I started doing more those deep squats and then the side lying hip releases and all that stuff. And while I was doing one of the squats the day before I had her, I heard a big pop. And I'm like, oh, maybe that was her getting out of my hip. And it was, because the next day, there she was. But that last few days, I was crying because there was so much pain from her being in my hip, and then the sciatic nerve just was kicking my butt. But yeah.
So that pop was not your waters going.
No.
That was just her maneuvering in your pelvis a bit.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Which,
okay.
Pretty intense. So can I talk about labor now?
Yes. Oh yeah, sure. So if there's nothing else about that pregnancy,
Okay.
yeah, take us into labor beginning. What were the first signs of labor?
So first sign for me was I had bloody show that morning. That's usually the biggest sign for, okay, it's actually happening this time.
That happened in your other pregnancies as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a pretty normal March day. We went outside. We were walking outside with the kids. It was cold, but I was like, I don't want to be inside all day. Let's go outside. I was getting warm. Very random contractions again. I probably had 3 or 4 throughout the day because they started around 8 a.m. Nothing constant, but these ones were so intense that I'm like, ooh, no, gotta stop. Hold on to my husband, hold on to the table, whatever was around, just breathe, because they were intense. And around 7 p.m., I was like, no, I need to go lay down. I didn't actually lay down. I was on my hands and knees over top of pillows. And then I got really cold. I was like, just throw all the blankets on me. He put 5 blankets on me. And I was like, okay, perfect. And then I'm like, nope, need to go pee. It's like 7:30 at this point. Went pee, and I was like, I don't need these clothes anymore. I'm getting too hot. And then I think she was born at 7:46. I got to look at that little paper. But yeah, he came upstairs. He's like, do you need me? I'm like, yeah, you should probably stay. And I was like, nope, she's coming now. Do not walk away. Oh, before I even say that, I forgot my 3rd kid. He came upstairs during this, and he's like, can we watch a movie together? And I'm like, for sure. He's laying on the bed beside me, trying to watch Stuart Little, and I'm like, I cannot watch this. I'm trying to stay calm so I don't make him freak out because he's 2.5. But he knew what was going on. He says to me, Mommy, you're doing so good. Keep going. Sister's almost here. And I'm like, you were 2.5 and you're being this amazing. He ended up falling asleep right before she got here. This is all like such a short time frame, and he fell asleep that quickly. I tried to wake him up when she came. Hold on, let's go back to birth because now we're skipping that.
Yeah.
My husband, he stayed because I said, nope, she's coming, sits down on the bed behind me. I was like, get ready because she's coming. Big one push. She was out. I'm like, just froze because I was like, why did that just happen so fast? I felt like there was no time to prep my mind. Okay, let's get pushing. No, she was like, I'm ready now. Let's go.
So
It was
so
fast.
contractions started when? And then she was
I
out
think
when?
I think I had one at 7 o'clock in the morning, but then there was
Oh,
maybe
okay.
3 or 4 through the day, and then 7
Mhm.
p.m. it was time to go.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
She was quick.
Yeah. So how were you on hands and knees again this
Yeah,
time?
that is my
Yeah.
go-to apparently.
Yeah. Well, if we listen to our bodies, they
Yeah.
know exactly the way to do it. Were you on your bed or were you next to your bed or
I was
how
on
were
my
you?
bed with all those pillows under me, trying to just hold myself
Mm-hmm.
up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My
Wow.
husband, I told the only thing that was missed with this one, I was like, please get pictures of her coming out because I don't have any pictures of any of these kids coming out. He forgot.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. He was focusing on her coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But he got
Yeah.
pictures of her connected to the placenta and me holding her with my shocked face because I'm like, all that just happened so quickly
So fast.
with that big,
Um,
beautiful cord, too.
yeah. I also you're how did you deliver your placenta again? Were you still down
I
on the ground
was
or on your bed and there's nest of pillows?
No, I was flipped over at that point, but it just
Okay.
popped out again really quickly. Just there it is. This time there was all the cloths under me, like towels and Chuck's pads, so there wasn't a big mess.
Okay, what did you do with this placenta postpartum? Did you make it into
So
smoothies again?
no, first the next no 2 days later I came downstairs finally and I was like, let me see this placenta. This thing was 2 pounds at minimum, and this cord was at least 2.5 feet long. I'm like, this is incredibly long. I'm like trying to hold it up. It was so high. Um, we did not do that. I did dehydrate it this time, and it is still sitting in my cabinet, dehydrated, and grind it up. But I never used it because I didn't need it. So one day we'll just go spread it outside and give it back to the earth because it's just sitting there.
Beautiful. Yeah, I always love knowing what women do with their placentas postpartum. All right. Well, if you could leave our listeners with one insight that is going to be pivotal in their ability to go from having a quite medicalized birth to having the natural, powerful, spiritual, transformative birth that they're picturing in their minds, what piece of advice would you give them?
Trust yourself. Listen to what your soul is saying. I don't want to say your heart or your mind because really, what is your soul saying that's going to happen? What's going to be good for you? What's going to lead you to that better spot? But if you did have a medical birth and it was traumatic, I also want to say like either seek somebody to talk through that, to get through that birth trauma, or do that work yourself. You could do that work yourself. Just work through that trauma because if you're not going to, when you try to have that baby, there could be stuff that pops up and then you're having all these panic things going on and you don't want that. So work through that trauma.
Yes, work through the trauma, face your fears before birth. Yes, definitely. Could not agree more. And you're absolutely right. Trust ourselves. When you say trust your soul, like, what does that precisely mean? Like, will you have physical, visceral signs in your body? Will you have like visions about what you know to be true? Like, what does that look like for you? I'm just curious.
Oh, for me, like I can have those thoughts and I can feel it in my heart, but it's just a deeper feeling. I don't know how to
Mm-hmm.
quite explain it. Just something deep inside of you saying this is what you need to do.
Mm-hmm. I think that if we all collectively as women leaned into that inner knowing, boy, would the world be different.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your beautiful stories today. It was such a pleasure for me and such an honor. And Yeah, I know we will, I'm sure, cross paths again in the birth world at some point, as we do.
Yeah. There was one
Okay.
more thing as I
Oh,
looked
yes.
behind me. We made vision boards recently, and on my vision
Ooh.
board, the top of it says showing strength and finding mother. And then the day after I made this poster, you messaged me about doing this, and I'm like, oh, that's perfect.
Ah! Oh my gosh, I love when things are like interwoven like that. I
Yeah,
think we're all energetically connected and we're all on this journey knowing like, yeah, we're all here to help each other, I don't know, reach whatever we're supposed to reach in this
yeah.
life. Yeah. Oh, well, here, really quickly, why don't you tell our listeners where they can reach you if they want to reach out on Instagram or Facebook? And you are a birth keeper and offering those services to women in Northern Illinois and Southern Wisconsin. So definitely want women to know where to find you.
So you can find me on Instagram or Facebook with my personal page. It's Birthkeeper and Beyond. But I was getting more and more clients, so I wanted to make sure I could help those clients also have people that I trusted. So we made a birth keeper collective called Stateline Birth Keepers, and we can also be found on Facebook and Instagram, but we're also on TikTok. So, well, if TikTok stays, but
Right, right, right. Okay, wonderful. I will definitely link that in the show notes below. Thank you so much, Mikala. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to Your Redemptive Birth. If you enjoyed today's show, please leave a review on your listening platform to help this podcast reach the women it needs to reach. If you have a redemptive birth story you would like to share, please email me at sarah@yourredemptivebirth.com. I would love to hear from you. Let's spread the redemptive birth word together.